Hello everyone, in this video I will talk about the documents required for US visa. If you want to visit USA and if you're applying for B1 B2 visa, make sure that you watch this video. This is going to be a very informative video. I'll discuss about all the documents in detail. Let us get started. But before I start, let me tell you a little bit about the process for US visa. So first you fill your DS-160. So you fill your DS-160 for B1 B2 visa. And after that you schedule your appointment for your US visa interview. Here is the thing, you don't actually upload any documents, but what you need to do is that you schedule your interview, and on the day of your interview you carry all your documents. So there are some mandatory documents that you need to carry, and there are some documents that depending on visa officer he can ask you. For example, in my case he asked me for my support letter from my employer. So he can ask you for any documents. He can ask you for your bank statement. He can ask you for anything. So in this video, I'll tell you which documents potentially he can ask you and which documents you should be carrying with yourself just to be on the safe side, even though he may not ask it at all. So let us get started. So these three are your mandatory documents that you will have to carry, and I have clubbed everything else in the fourth document by the name other documents. I would suggest that you carry this other document section as well. In most situations he will not ask you, but if he asks you and you have this document, your chances of getting visa increases very much. So I'll talk about the first three documents at the very end of this video. I'll show you how the confirmation page from DS-160 look like. I'll show you how the instruction page look like. So the first document that I will suggest that you carry with yourself is your travel itinerary, for the simple reason that the first question that the visa officer can ask you, in most situations he asks the first question is what is your purpose of travel. So he asks you why are you traveling to USA. So your purpose could be anything. You can be traveling to USA for tourism. You can be traveling to USA to attend some business trainings, conference. You can be traveling to USA to visit your family. So these are your verbal answers. So if you have anything to prove it, if you have any documentation for it, that will make your case strong. So if you have a travel itinerary, what it shows? It shows that you have a plan. You have a plan that you want to travel to USA, and you have dates in mind, you have the places in mind that you're going to visit. So your travel itinerary is basically your flight details, your hotel reservation if any, and if you have registered for an event, if you are going to attend something, if you have a documentation to show that, that would be great too. Your flight details, let me tell you, you don't need to book your ticket, because unless your visa is confirmed there is no point in finally paying for the ticket. However, you can make an itinerary, you can make a plan that these are the dates that you're going to travel, and if you can get a ticket where you can get a refund, you can book that. Similarly, you can book your hotel if you can get refund. And even if you are not booking a confirmed ticket, it is okay to prepare an itinerary, and you have this itinerary, and you can show this document to the visa officer if he asks. So having discussed about travel itinerary in detail, let me talk about the other document. So this is support letter from employer event organizer. So I'll give you an example. Say I was traveling to US for business trainings purpose. So the visa officer asked me directly that do you have anything from your employer? And I was having this letter in my hand. I forwarded it to him. So he read it in detail, and that was it. He knew that I'm a genuine visitor. So if I have a valid reason, they are going to give me visa. So this letter from my employer proved that I have a valid reason. Similarly, if you are going to attend a conference, and if you can get a letter, that will show that you have a genuine reason. Similarly, if you are going to attend for trainings, get a letter from your employer. So documentation will help. Next document that I'm going to talk about is very important. So I was talking about one thing, if you have noticed, that you should have a reason to go back to your home country. So the visa officer, in his mind, you are an intended immigrant, which means that the visa officer is thinking that you have a plan to permanently settle in USA. So it is on you. The duty is yours to convince him that you don't have any such plans, and you're going to do it by two ways: by your verbal answers as well as by documents. So what documents you can carry to show that you have a strong ties to your home country, you have a reason to go back to your home country. So if you have a job in, say, your home country, if you are employed there, obviously you're gonna return back to your job. Say if you're unemployed, that raises a red flag because you don't have a job back home. What if you come to USA as a tourist and you don't go back to your home and you find work in USA? So this is the concern in the mind of visa officer. If you have a business in your home country, again, another reason for you to return back to your home country. If you're a student, you have to go and attend your universities or your college. So again, you have a reason to go back to your home country. Again, if you have a family in your home country, you have a reason to go back to your home country. If you have children, if you have a wife, you have a reason to go back. If you have a property, you are going to go back there, right? So if you have houses in your home country, and it could be other documents too. For example, uh, if you are a member of any political party, if you're a member of any other thing as well, as long as you have sufficient documentation for it, it should be fine. So I have discussed about all these briefly, but now one by one I'll discuss it in detail and I'll tell you which documents you can use to, for example, for your job, which documents you need to carry with yourself to prove your family ties, which documents you need to carry with yourself. In the next few slides, I'll talk about that. So for job, if you are employed professional, say you're working with Google in India, so what you can carry? So you can carry your employment letter. You can remember that employment letter should be on the company's letterhead. Employment letter is something that contains your job details, your responsibilities, and you can carry your letter confirming vacation. So if you're going there for 3 weeks, have a letter from your HR or manager confirming vacation, or you can carry NOC. NOC is no objection certificate. And you can carry your pay slips. You can carry your ITR. ITR is your income tax return. And if you are running a business, then what you can carry? So if you are running a business, so obviously if you are running a business, you must be making some sales. If you are making some sales, then you must be having some invoices. Carry those invoices. Carry your income tax return, because this will show that you are earning back home and then you're paying taxes to the government. So carry that. Carry your revenue statement. Revenue statement is basically your sales statement, showing how much sales you have made. Again, if you have business in India and if you're selling your product there, you have a reason to go back to India. I'm taking India as a home country example. And if you have started a business, you must be having article of incorporation. Carry that document as well. So again, I want to make something very clear here. These documents, they may not ask you. These documents, they can ask you. It all depends on the visa officer. My case, they asked me for support letter. So if I were in your position, I would be carrying those documents. And the documents that I'm telling you are again easily available. You don't have to carry all these documents. You can have, like for your employment, you can carry your employment letter. For it will be better if you carry all these documents, but if you don't get those documents, it is fine. You can carry some of them. You can carry obviously your pay slips. You will be having your pay slips. Even if you don't get your employment letter, you would be having your pay slips and you can carry that. So if you're a student, I've already mentioned you can carry your student ID card. That will show that you have reason to go back to your home country. What about how to show that you have family ties to your home country? This is simple, like any documents that can show your relation to the person in your home country, you can carry that document. I'll give you two examples. For your marriage, how can you prove that? Carry your marriage certificate. If you don't have a marriage certificate, carry your passport, because your passport will show your spouse name. If you have children, carry their birth certificate or carry any document that shows them as your children. And now next thing that I'll talk about is proof of fund. This is important not just because it shows that you have funds, but this also shows that you have something to go back to your home country, because your properties, if you have properties in your home country, which means that you have something to go back to your home country. So this is very important in my opinion. And if for your liquid fund, you can obviously show your bank statement. Your bank statement, you generally show it for the past 6 months. So There are two things that the visa officer will look at when they look at your bank statement. First, they will see that if your bank statement is stable. I'll talk about what stable is. And the second thing that the visa officer will see is that if your bank statement has a regular transaction or not. So, what do I mean by stability actually? Let me explain that to you. So, let me give you one example. I have my bank account. I did not deposit any money in it for like for last 4 or 5 months, and now I'm applying for US visa. So what I did was that I wanted to inflate my bank account balance. I wanted to show high bank balance. So what I did was that I took a loan from my friend, say for $6,000, say, or 5 lakh Indian rupees. And what I did was that I made one big deposit in my bank account. So now I have over 5 lakh Indian rupees or 6,000 US dollar. And I'm thinking that since I have a good bank balance now, my visa will get approved. But this doesn't work this way. So this was obviously an example. I didn't do it actually. So this doesn't work this way. Your bank statement should be stable. So if you are earning a salary, there should be a recurrent monthly deposit in your account, for example. It could be from anything, but there should be a stability in your bank account. There is not like that for 5 months there was nothing happening in your bank account and then you make a one big deposit. The visa officer will think that there is something going on with your bank account. You don't have sufficient fund. You are making one huge deposit. So make sure that your bank statement is stable. So that is one thing that you can do to get your visa. So other than bank statement as a proof of fund, you can use your investment. If you have made investment in say stocks and properties, so you can use that. Again, this will show your ties to your home country as well, because if you have an investment there, you have a reason to go back there. Properties, I've explained it. And pay slips, you all know that you can carry it with yourself. Pay slips will show that you have the potential to earn money. So even if you don't have a lot of bank balance right now, and if you have a good salary, this will suggest the visa officer that you can save money and you can come to USA, you can finance your trip. So I have discussed proof of fund in detail. Now let me go to the next topic, which is invitation letter. So this is something that I will spend 2 to 3 minutes. I'll show it to you how invitation letter looks like, but I'll do that at the end of this video. Other than this, you can carry your cover letter. Now that I have covered other document section, let me start with what is confirmation page for DS-160, what is instruction page. So when you fill your DS-160 application, at the end you get after you submit your DS-160, you get print your confirmation page. So you need to print that confirmation page and you need to carry it with yourself. And after that you schedule your appointment and you get print your instruction page. So these two pages you need to carry with yourself. Let me show both of them to you. So this is your confirmation letter. This you get when you fill your DS-160. So after filling your DS-160, you get this confirmation. It will have your name, date of birth, it will have your confirmation number, and you need to carry this with yourself. You must bring the confirmation page and the following document with you at all steps during the application process. It has mentioned just passport, so that is, again, as I mentioned, it's a mandatory document, but you may also provide any additional document you feel will support your case. So this is what all this video is about, because additional documents will again make your case strong. So we'd want to have it, because visa officer, he is thinking of just finding a reason to refuse your visa. You don't want to give them that right. You want to have a reason that will support your case. And through this video, I'm helping you with that. So having talked about confirmation page, let me tell you how instruction letter looks like. So this is your instruction page that you will get once you schedule your appointment. So this is how it will look like. It will have your visa class, your DS-160 number, your passport number. You must appear for in-person interview at the consular section. Please gather the document listed below. So now that you know what is your confirmation page, what is your instruction page, and your passport, carry these three documents with you. Now let me talk about a very important document. So if you are going to US to visit your family, please ask them to write an invitation letter for you. So this is how an invitation letter looks like. If you have an invitation letter, your chances of getting visa is very high. So ask them to write an invitation letter for you. This invitation letter I'm showing is an example of that I wrote for Canada actually, but the concept is the same. So remember that this letter is being written by your family or friend in USA. So ask them to write a letter for you. So what is a letter of invitation? Basically, someone is in US who is your friend or family, and they are inviting you to US. In this letter, they will give their detail, they will give your detail, and they will give the reason for the visit. So first, say for example, you have a son or a daughter in USA. So your son is writing this letter, and here he will give his detail. He'll indicate his name, his date of birth, and if he have any permit there, he will attach that. And after that, he'll give your detail. So he's inviting his father, so he'll give his father detail. So he'll give your passport number, your name, born on, your current address, your telephone number, and then the most important thing, he'll talk about why are you visiting US. He will, for example, if he's graduating and you are going there for his convocation, he will give the reason. That is the reason why you're visiting. He'll talk about how long will you be staying. He will talk about when you will be leaving, and he will be talking about most important thing is your strong ties to your home country. The reason why I mentioned strong ties over here and I've highlighted this section is because this will tell the visa officer you will be going back to your home country. So, for example, you have a sibling in India. So you are telling the visa officer that my parents he is going to visit US, and after that he's going to return back to home country to be with my siblings. And you can tell like your father has a business in India. He will return back to India to take care of his business. Again, you will talk about proof of fund. So you will tell here that if your parents will be spending their own money, so in that case you need to attach their bank statement. This is how invitation letter looks like. I hope this video was useful to you. If you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe my channel, and if you have any question, feel free to ask me. You can reach out to me on my Instagram. Thank you so much.